right, this is lesson 7.1, dividing decimals by 10, 100, or 1000. Our learning goal is to mentally divide decimals by 10, 100, or 1000. So here are some more learning goals. Count the zeros in the 10, 100, or 1000 and move the decimal to the left that many places. Here's an example. We have 509 and 3/10 divided by 1000. Well, I could do 509 and 3/10 divided by 1000. And I could think 1000 won't go into 5 or 50 or 509, but it will go into 5093. I have to line up my decimal. Oops, sorry. And I can think 1000 will go into 5093 5 times. So I could put my 5 up here. And then I could do my divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So 5 times 1000 is 5000. And 5093 minus 5000 is 93. And I can't have remainders, so remember from our last lesson, after the decimal point, I could just add another 0 here. I can add as many zeros as I need to without changing the value of the dividend. And I could get 930, so 1000 won't go into 930, so it will go in 0 times, sorry. 0 times 1000 is 0, 930 minus 0 is 930, add another 0, bring that down. 1000 goes into 9,309 times. Oops, 9 times 1,000 is 900. 900, I'll write it over here so you can write it over here. 5,300 minus 9,000 is 300. Then I'm going to have to add another 0 back here. Drop that down. I will get 3,000. 1000 will go into 3,000. 3 times 1000 is 3,000, and 3,000 minus 3,000 is 0. So I have 5,093 10,000s. Now I can go through that whole long process, or I could just take my decimal and move it 3 places to the left. Now because I have 3 zeros in 1000, I can move my decimal here, 1, 2, 3 zeros to the left. And remember, when we multiplied, we moved our decimal to the right to get a bigger number. Now when we're dividing, we're moving our decimal to the left to get a smaller number. So really, I could go through this long process, but that would give me the same answer as moving my decimal place 1, 2, 3, and having decimal point 5093. That is my answer. All right, so easy peasy. Let's go to the next practice problem. We have 12 and 33 hundredths divided by 10. Well, because I have 1 0 in 10, that means I'm going to move my decimal place 1 place to the left. So I take my decimal point. I could divide it and I would get the same answer the long way, but this is easier. So I take my decimal point one place over, and I get 1 point. Make sure you have a decimal point, not a comma. 1.233, or 1 and 233 thousandths. Let's do our next practice problem. We have 27 hundredths divided by 100. Since I have 2 zeros in 100, I want to move my decimal point 2 zeros to the left. So I take my decimal point here, and I want to move it 1, 2 spaces. I'll put a 0 in my empty spot. So my answer should be decimal point 0, 0, 2, 7, which is 27 10,000ths. Let's try the next one. We have 7,446 and 5/10 divided by 1,000. Well, since I have 3 zeros in 1,000, I want to move my decimal point 3 spaces to the left. So I will take this decimal point and I will go 1, 2, 3. And my final answer then would be 7.4465, which is 7 and 4,465 10,000ths. All right, here's our practice word problem. If Mrs. Tim could drive 100 yards in 68 and 2900 seconds, what was the time it took her to drive 1 yard? So here we have 100 divided by, 68 and 29 hundredths divided by 100. That's going to look like this, 68 and 29 hundredths divided by 100. You could set up the problem if you were going to do it like 68 29 hundredths divided by 100. You could line up the decimal point and you could go through the traditional algorithm, or you could think 100 has 2 zeros in it, so I'm going to move this decimal point over to the left 2 spaces, 1, 2, decimal point, and I will get decimal point 68, so 6,829 10,000ths seconds. If that's what you got, give yourself a pat on the back. If not, go ahead and find where you made your mistake and make your corrections. All right, so challenge yourself. Mrs. Langford is selling you a car for $7,342 on Tuesday. She is giving you 100 weeks to pay it off. How much will you have to pay her each week? Show all of your work in your journal and explain your answer. Come back to school ready to check your answer. And we're finished. Review your learning goals. Have you mastered all of them? Do you need to go back and review and practice again? In your journal, write down if you are at a 1, 2, or 3 in your learning, and write down any questions you might still have. And we will see you in class to answer those tomorrow.